So it seems that Games Workshop have finally decided to show off the Golden Elite of the Blood Angels. Let's talk about the shiny new Sanguinor and the quite heavily redesigned Sanguinary Guard. Hello and welcome back to Warspets Tactics, where today Games Workshop have given us yet more Blood Angels reveals, and in this one I thought we'd take a look over the new miniatures that they've showcased on Warhammer Community. Over the past few weeks, Games Workshop have been showcasing the Blood Angels reveals one by one. It seems their release schedule has been one in 3 different parts. They decided to go for the Black Armour of the Death Company first. That's when we got the unique chaplains with Asterath the Grim and Lamartes, plus that big new launch box that they're coming out with, which does have a ton of stuff in it, including the Codex, but maybe was a little bit disappointing in that the way that they're going to do Death Company is just generally going to be Assault Intercessors and Jump Intercessors plus an upgrade sprue. Still though, overall for the contents, people still seem to be pretty hyped for it. Then last week we had the reveal of the Blood Angels unique Captain sculpt, a captain on foot which maybe felt like the spiritual successor to Tycho, as a new Sanguinary priest on foot as well. And now this week Games Workshop did promise us that we'd see some gold power armour, and as expected it is the reveal for the new Sanguinor and Sanguinary Guard. I wouldn't be too surprised if this winds up being the last major reveal for the Blood Angels. Unlike in previous articles, they didn't say if there was anything more to come, though I guess they will get a redesigned combat patrol box set of one sort or another. Hopefully it winds up being a good one, though I wouldn't say my hopes are crazy high given it their record in 10th edition so far. While we're on the subject of Blood Angels, I'd just like to quickly mention that the channel giveaway for September will be for 8 copies of the Blood Angels army set, though you can also choose to pick up one of the Ordo battle forces instead for the Inquisition. Hopefully it should be a good way for a few people to start an army of the new Blood Angels, and I'll talk about that a bit more fully at the end of the video, so check back if you'd like a bit more details as to how to enter for that. In any case, on with the business in hand though, and here are the new Sanguinary Guard. Let's talk through them first and then move on to the Sanguinor himself. The Sanguinary Guard have long felt like they're a firstborn kit where the writing was kind of on the wall for them, definitely due a scale update at some point. It was just a matter of when rather than if, and it kind of made people a bit more wary about picking up a whole bunch of them. These guys are essentially the ultimate elite guard of the Blood Angels. They're often seen fighting alongside Dante in the lore, and they typically take to the field resplendent in their golden armour, often sporting death masks, and laying about the foe with uncommon blades. Certainly in 9th edition they were a pretty pivotal unit to the chapter. Perhaps for a bit too long, Blood Angels were essentially Codex Sanguinary Guard, with the other options being just sort of maybe choices that you could take, but generally didn't tend to be quite worth it. In 10th edition that hasn't really been the case so much. For most of it, Sanguinary Guard have been kind of weak, though with the buff to the Blood Angel Sons of Sanguinius detachment, and also the Sanguinary Guard dropping in points a bit, I'd say they're now at the place where they're usable. Certainly plenty of people have been taking them in competitive lists, even if they don't feel quite as auto-include as the Death Company or squads of Jump Intercessors. They are generally going to be a really focal unit for the Blood Angels Codex though, as I guess after these updates there's a good chance that they're the only actual unique mainline unit that they'll be able to field. Besides them, it looks like we're literally just going to have characters and Death Company via the upgrade sprue, and rules for a Death Company Dreadnought that'll mainly be paint focused as opposed to any modelling details. In any case, the new models have certainly made some changes to their original design. It looks like they're in a 3 model squad, not 5. That does seem to be a trend of certain chapter elites that they've been doing recently. Say we had the Dark Angels Inner Circle Companions fielded in a squad of 3. That doesn't generally tend to be very good news in terms of value per money for models. Often these 3-man Space Marine elite squads tend to be some of the worst deals for points per the money, so it maybe is a shame not to get 5 of them. Perhaps the other biggest change is they've lost their wings. That had been rumoured for quite a while, and it seems that that is true. Previously they had the single thruster jump pack and then the sort of winged bits on either side. Now they've got the dual thruster jump pack, maybe not so very dissimilar from the Jump Intercessors now. Though they are maybe a little bit more fancy and stylised, it looks like their wing bits have moved to the sort of thruster flap type thing on the back of them, which looks a little bit bigger on this design versus the Jump Intercessors. For war gear choices, things have swapped around as well. Previously they had the options of swords, axes and a single power fist. Now it's going to be swords versus spears, though I guess if you have any axe ones, just run them as swords I suppose. It doesn't look like the unit can field a power fist at all, and one of the spears, as with this guy, can be fielded as a banner sort of version. I don't know whether or not that's going to have any actual in-game rules. The ones for the Inner Circle Companions of the Dark Angels didn't. They didn't mention Angelus bolt guns versus Inferno pistols. Looks like at least one of the squad can take an Inferno pistol, though unless there's more bits in the box it might be 1 per 3 now. I'm not sure if that'd be the worst change in the world, to be honest. Their signature ranged weapon is supposed to be the Angelus bolt gun on the wrist mounted bit, and it might be good to have squads have a bit more of an excuse to field them. Otherwise they've got the choice between bear heads and death mask heads, as you can see here, and they're doing the usual Space Marine jump pack type thing of leaping off bits of terrain, giving the models a bit more height, and they also have a bigger base than the old Sanguinary Guard had. Here's another picture of the squad. You can see them with a few different poses and modelling their different heads. One of them's got a laurel wreath, one of them seems to have a bionic eye. And then the spears do look pretty cool, to be fair, really quite dynamic. I quite like the pose of the one on the left who's looking like he's about to either throw or impale an enemy with his spear. Apparently, like things like the blade guard, each of them will be able to be built in multiple different poses. So it's a squad with not many models in it, but lots of flexibility. You can also see a sort of top-down look at the jump pack, as you can see here, with the wings out the back, plus the banner. It looks like initial reaction to the miniatures has been a bit mixed. Some people saying they like them a fair bit, other people not really liking certain aspects of their design, perhaps most notably missing those cool wings that they had. Perhaps in terms of actual soldiers fighting in battles, they were probably a bit impractical, but they did look really quite cool, and it's not often that really stops Warhammer 40k. I guess with 3D printing being a thing, there might be some people making some alternative wing jump packs for them if you wanted to trade those bits out. I don't know if the wings being removed might have been partly due to perhaps having the spear loadout as well. There might not have been a lot of room for that with wings on the back of them as well, due to things getting in the way of each other. Let me know your thoughts on the miniatures down below though. I think for the most part I like the models, it's maybe just the jump packs I'm not entirely sold on. I can't help but think they might look better with other options. Here's a side-by-side of the old versus new. Quite a lot of the design elements are pretty similar, to be honest. Big golden boys with stylized muscle armor, though the new ones are missing the nipples once again, and a few swap outs for war gear. It really is the jump pack that's the biggest change out of these guys, I feel like. Other than that, I feel like the rest of the bodies are pretty much just a direct upgrade in terms of quality and looks. In any case, for the release of these guys, they'll be coming out alongside Codex Blood Angels, which will follow the Battle Force, but could be really quite a lot of weeks later. We had that with the Tau and the Kroot box set earlier in the year, where the Kroot box set came out, and then it was a long time after for the rest of the Tau to release. But I guess whenever the Battle Force drops, I suspect it'll probably be within the next 1 month to 2 months for the rest of the Blood Angels to come out. Pricing on them would likely be $60, £37, or €47.50 for 3 of them. That's based on other Space Marine 3 model kits like the Inner Circle Companions. I'd guess that their reimagination as a 3 model unit will come with some rules changes. I'd guess they'd probably go up to 3 wounds like a bunch of other Space Marine veterans, such as the Black Templar Sword Brethren or the Dark Angels Companions. Most likely they'll be fielded in squads of 3 or 6. As there's going to be few of them in the base unit, I guess that each individual one might gain an attack or something like that, so they overall hit just a bit harder per miniature. And the spear seems like it's almost certainly going to gain the lance keyword, so that'll be +1 to wound when you're charging in, and that's going to be a massive advantage. The swords will likely have some sort of way to balance that out a bit, maybe +1 attack over the spear loadout maybe. I guess we'll have to wait and see for the final profiles. Hopefully Games Workshop manage to make them super dangerous and don't weirdly give them AP-1 weapons like the Inner Circle Companions got. Of course though, they're not the only big reveal today. We also had the exemplar of the host in the Sanguinor, reimagined to this rather extravagant new miniature as you can see here. The Sanguinor's got a bit of interesting and kind of unique lore within the Blood Angels. He's a mysterious saviour that appears in times of the chapter's greatest need, basically descending from the heavens in a burst of golden light, slaughtering all the enemies of the Emperor and helping the beset Blood Angels to achieve great victories that otherwise would have been entirely impossible, carving through the enemy ranks and then ascending once more into the heavens and mysteriously vanishing. I feel like whenever they talk about Sanguinor lore, it's generally thought to be sort of an imperial demon manifestation of the chapter's yearning for their Primarch back. I feel like if Games Workshop ever did want to bring Sanguinius himself back, that might be the pathway to do so. Though I think most would agree from a lore perspective that's probably not a good idea, given that that's the entire Blood Angel's backstory pretty much. It is still technically an open-ended question though as to what he is. There could be other things going on. In the Warhammer community article, they say that he might have some sort of mysterious connection to Dante, or he could be the spirit of Ascalon. I believe the founding Sanguinary Guard, who's been preserved by the Emperor's grace, and now apparently only comes out for special occasions. In any case, it certainly fits with the Blood Angels theming, a great big angelic saviour descending from the heavens to cut through the enemy with martial prowess. And it does indeed appear that his model was that parchment rumour engine that Games Workshop showed off earlier in the year. It did seem that it was a good odds to be the Sanguinor at first glance. There also could have been other things like maybe Sisters jump packs or maybe Stormcast, though they got reinterpreted without this load-bearing parchment. Glad that when I mentioned that each time, it didn't turn out to be talking rubbish. In any case, the Sanguinor's been an important model for Blood Angels recently. A great big heroic intervention, lone operative threat, potentially able to step into melee and swing a big combat, or alternatively just be a very fast, very fighty model that most opponents are going to struggle to catch up with fights first. The miniature comes as the update to this one, which really did feel like it was showing its age compared with a lot of the other cool stuff that GW had come out with more recently. Styling wise, they haven't really done anything too enormously adventurous with him. It pretty much is the same model in terms of styling, but just new details, a bigger miniature, and keeping the same pose of the blood-filled grail plus his great sword. I guess for changes, the wings are a different sort of styling, sort of pinions curving upwards now, rather than the ones he had before. The parchment's a bit more billowing, and it has an interesting head resculpt as well. I feel like the new one's probably an upgrade overall. Still looks like he's got the same single thruster jump pack that the old Sanguinary Guard had. I can't help but wonder what the new Sanguinary Guard would look like if they just used a similar sort of styling jump pack to this one on them, though maybe going for wings that weren't quite this extravagant perhaps. In any case, reaction to him seems to be pretty good. I feel like they played a bit more safe with this one, basically just doing a new fancy resculpt to an existing model and deciding not to change up the formula other than adding cool details and things. If he's priced the same as Dante, he'll be £28, €35 or $45. I certainly wouldn't expect him to be less than that. I guess it's possible that as a slightly more extravagant miniature, they might put him similar to certain bigger characters like the Chaplain on bike. I would hope he might be the same as Dante. Unlike the Sanguinary Guard, I wouldn't really be expecting any enormous rules changes for him. I still guess he'd be a lone operative as opposed to leading the Sanguinary Guard, though I guess we'll see. I suppose quite often when they make bigger, bulkier, Primaris-sized models, they often give stats increases out, maybe extra wounds or attacks or things. In general though, I'd probably hope that his current gameplay doesn't change up too much. I think it's quite an interesting choice, and the rules do live up to his whole heroic saviour sort of nature. Just stepping into any combat to try and tip it in your favour is no small thing. In any case, let me know what you make of the new Angels down in the comments. Do you like the new Sanguinary Guard and the new Sanguinor? And how would you rate them compared with the old ones? Finally, I'll just cycle back to talk about that Blood Angels giveaway that's going to be coming in September, which might be of interest to a few of you out there. This channel giveaway is going to be for 8 winners to get either one Inquisitorial Battle Force box set or the Blood Angels army set. Each individual winner gets to choose which one they like, and I'll order them in. The ones on offer are the Blood Angels army set with Lamarti's Asterath, 21 Death Company and the Codex, or any of the 3 Inquisitorial ones, Ordo Xenos, Malleus or Hereticus. As ever for the channel giveaways, there's 2 equal ways to enter, both of them links down in the video description, and you can do one, not both. Either you can support the channel on the Patreon page for any amount, and that is the main thing that allows me to keep on making videos quite so regularly. Channel patrons are automatically entered into the channel giveaways each and every month. Otherwise, you can alternatively enter by supporting the channel on social media, and that's completely free. To do that, you subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the Facebook page, and then to actually enter the draw via social media, there's a giveaway post that appears on the 1st of September. That turns up at midnight UK time and is active for just over 24 hours. Respond to that post with a photo of any 40k mini or imagery, along with your name and the date handwritten within the same photo, the last bit just to stop Facebook bots and spammers. After that time's up, the draw is done with a random number generator and announced on the channel update video on YouTube around the 4th of September, and I'll get in touch with the winners to ask which battle force they'd like, whether it's Blood Angels or something Inquisitorial. The models will be posted out once I've received my orders of them. In any case, feel free to check out those links in the video description if you'd like to enter for either of those, and I will keep the regular ones coming with further giveaways each month. In any case, let me know your thoughts on the new Golden Angels down in the comments. I'll certainly look forward to covering the Codex once it's out, or any other news or previews of the Angels. Hopefully Games Workshop won't leave us too long before we start seeing some of those. Feel free to subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see any of that. Finally, if you would like to help support the channel and keep the videos coming, the channel Patreon page does have a few other advantages. Besides giveaway entries, you get to see certain videos early, regular votes to see what sort of things come next, and other things like names in the credits and Discord roles and things. Feel free to check it out if any of that's of interest, or you just want to support the channel. In any case, a massive thank you for listening, and I'll hope to see you guys next time.